Spinning out of the pages of Flashpoint Beyond, we have the new Golden Age, a brand new prologue series courtesy of Geoff Johns. What happens when a time-spanning conspiracy manages to bring together the worlds of the Justice Society, the Legion of Superheroes, and even the Watchmen? Well, let's hop into issue number 1 together and find out, shall we? Alrighty then, so this special prologue issue jumps around a ton, and you're just gonna have to bear with me on this one. As we join the book proper, we're in Gotham City 10 years from now. I know that doesn't seem that long in the future, but seriously, these days I can't even tell what I'm going to be doing 10 hours from now, let alone 10 years. We're introduced to a little girl by the name of Helena. She's an interesting child whose snow angels happen to look both like bats and like cats. And while the book wants to make it some sort of mystery, I called it way too early that is Helena Wayne, aka the former Huntress of Earth 2, and now honestly I'm not sure what, but that's kind of the thrust of the story, isn't it? It seems that Helena has been haunted her whole life by a mysterious red-headed stranger who only she seemed to be able to see. This guy never actively tried to hurt her, but he always showed up at really inopportune times and was, well, just creepy as all get out. Now, from there, we go back in time all the way to the original first meeting of the Justice Society of America. They're getting a team picture taken, and if this gives you real big Watchmen vibes, it totally should. The gang's all screwing around comparing powers, and eventually they start to ask Dr. Fate if he can use his amazing magic to tell them how many kids they're going to have in the future. Kent Nelson is resistant to this idea at first, but eventually gives on into the peer pressure. It's all fun and games at first, that is of course until he tries to look into Jay Garrick's future. In doing so, he ends up getting a vision of the exact same strange red-headed man, as well as several missing sidekicks who got deleted from history via crises, including Judy Garrick, the secret daughter of Joan and Jay, who Johns himself created for his Stargirl Lost Children special, which I guess is a really important book now. Kent starts freaking out as all of these images overload his mind, and from there we jump forward 1,000 years in the future, wherein we actually get to meet the future version of the Justice Society of America. They're pretty small right now with only 3 members, but they hope if they go spelunking in the ruins of their ancestors' base, they can find some relics that may very well make them the equals of the Legion of Superheroes. Unfortunately, though, all they end up finding is that strange red-headed stranger who kills the future version of Dr. Fate, in doing so kicking off a very domino effect all throughout time and space. It seems that whoever this stranger is, they don't just have an axe to grind with one version of the JSA, they have an axe to grind with every version of the JSA, including 2 70s additions to the team, like the Earth 2 version of Power Girl, as well as the Star-Spangled Kid. We see a younger and more indignant Kara getting all in the face of Kent and Dr. Midnighter, saying that she's tired of being treated like a sidekick and she wants to be where the action is, man. It's here too they also mention Wonder Woman being a member of the original Justice Society of America, which is one of those things that often changes in continuity depending on the crisis. I remember after the Wonder Woman movie came out, they had retconned it to say that Diana was always on the team because unlike Batman and Superman, she doesn't age, so she always could have been a member, but no one ever really went back to that story ever again. Now, speaking of younger heroes, and our next stop is actually the present day, where we're reintroduced to Khalid, the newest owner of the Helmet of Fate, and great-nephew to Kent Nelson himself. Now, if you've been following the Dr. Fate character over in the Justice League Dark books and elsewhere, you'll know that Nabu, the spirit of the helmet, isn't actually the spirit of the helmet anymore. Now it's Hahet, the lady goddess of time and space in Egyptian mythology. Khalid, with the help of Detective Chimp, is trying to understand the depths of his new power and the new spirit that he's going to have to be working with. It's when Khalid becomes Dr. Fate again that he too ends up getting a first-hand view of all these other Dr. Fates who are getting murdered across time and space by the red-headed stranger. But hey, don't worry, Dr. Fate doesn't get to have all the fun in the new Golden Age, as Geoff Johns also offers us up a big sweeping retcon for the Green Lantern universe. Yeah, I know, it's not the first time, right? As we discover during World War II in the height of Alan Scott's own time as the magical Green Lantern, it seems that the Russian government had their own superpowered agent who went by the codename Red Lantern with the same powers. You're probably wondering if that was the case, why we never heard of this person before. Well, that's all part of the mystery, isn't it? And why, yes, the strange red-headed guy is also watching Alan Scott in this time period as well. Now, when we check back in with young Helena, she decided that she's had just about enough of this stranger watching over her from the shadows, and as such, she opts to take matters into her own hands, grabbing a kitchen knife and stabbing the first creepy sound that she she hears go bump in the night. Unfortunately, she ends up not stabbing the red-headed stranger, but instead ends up stabbing her father Batman, returning from a night of crime fighting. This of course means that Bruce basically has no choice but to come 100% clean with his daughter about his double life as a crime fighter. And hey, if you love continuity and connective tissue, you'll notice that Batman still has the snow globe that has the Flashpoint universe inside it, as well as Dr. Manhattan's watch in his cave. Now, once Selina Kyle Catwoman finds out that Batman spilled the beans about his double life to his daughter, she's understandably pretty damn furious because, well, she pays attention and she knows that no matter how well-intentioned Batman might be, somehow, someway, the young people in his life always end up getting pulled into his orbit as a crime fighter, and they always end up getting hurt because of it. In fact, hey, they even drop a little reference to Three Jokers, another Geoff Johns story, when Selina Kyle mentions that at some point in history, Bruce even took the Joker's son in and made him a Robin. Jeez, can we hear that story? That one sounds like a banger. Believe it or not, Catwoman also has a connection to the Dr. Fate side of this story, as it seems back in her days as a super thief, she actually stole a magical ring belonging to the Egyptian goddess who now resides in the Helmet of Fate. Kent Nelson tried to stop her, saying anyone who put on that ring would end up seeing a vision of the future, and it wasn't always the vision that they wanted. It's from there we check on in with Rip Hunter and the Time Masters. You'll remember they were basically the secondary antagonists over in the Flashpoint Beyond story. They're still cleaning up Batman's mess after he stole Dr. Manhattan's watch. It seems that 13 individuals that the Time Masters had been keeping out of continuity, including those missing kids, the Golden Age Aquaman, and even the Golden Age Mr. Miracle, all went missing somewhere in the time stream. But that's not the only people they're after either. They're also after that strange Ozymandias fangirl who goes by the codename Nostalgia, who's trying to track down the Watchman, aka the son of Marionette and Mime from Doomsday Clock, who went back to the Watchmen universe with all the powers of Dr. Manhattan so he could basically grow up to become that world's answer to Superman. And that's not the only Watchmen reference we get either, as our last flash forward is once again with Helena. Around her 18th birthday, her father Batman is killed in the field. We briefly see the mask of Rorschach before Helena vows her own bloody revenge on whoever did it. Unfortunately, this was all part of the red-headed stranger's plan, saying as soon as Helena joins the JSA, that's when his plan will really take hold. And it's on that note right there the comic comes to an end, everyone. So that was the new Golden Age issue #1, and yeah, I gotta say, Geoff Johns certainly pulls out all the stops on this one. If you're a major DC continuity junkie like me, or if you've been following the meta story that Geoff Johns has been telling across his last several DC stories, I think you're going to be pleasantly surprised with this one. Once again, it feels like Geoff Johns has willingly given himself a Herculean task. Oh yeah, I'm going to reintegrate all of these Golden Age characters into the main universe continuity and have it make sense and tell a compelling story at the same time, while also inventing a couple new characters along the way, and also once again tying everything back into Doomsday Clock and the Watchmen universe. Is it a good idea to do any of these things? Will it be satisfying and pay off, especially because it seems like Joshua Williamson is also doing his own thing by returning Earth 2 and the Infinite Earths over in Dark Crisis? Again, I don't know yet, it's too early to tell, but I'm definitely interested to see where it can go. For what it's worth, the book certainly looks nice and reads well enough, even if it does jump all over the universe. I also just really appreciate getting to see the JSA and all of its members, characters who rarely if ever get the spotlight, actually get some real spotlight and appreciation here, if only for a minute. Overall, I'd give this one an 8.5 out of 10. They certainly throw down the creative gauntlet in this one. And love or hate the direction, Johns has once again made a story that we're all gonna be talking about, which is more than you can say for some other series.
Hey there everyone, Kate Joel again, and I just want to thank you so much for watching to the end of the video. It means a lot to me. And hey, if you enjoyed the book I covered in this issue and want some comics of your own, might I recommend Book Depository? It's my #1 place for shopping for comic book trades. You get a great price, and if you use my link down in the description, you'll actually be helping me out at the same time. You get something, I get something, everybody wins, right? So until next time everyone, I've been Joel, and I will see you in the next video. Bye-bye.